Supper.com.
Do you want to have a tremendous Christmas? Well, you can with a Christmas tree from Spake Farms. Spake Farms has a good selection of beautiful fresh-cut North Carolina Fraser firs. Plus, you'll find wreaths and sizes and Fraser fir roping, live Doug trees, bows, and tree stands. Yes, it will be a tremendous Christmas with a Christmas tree from Spake Farms. Highway 150 East, a quarter-mile above the YMCA in Shelby. Just look for the giant snowman.
And now we're ready. We had our mouths full. We were eating. No, we had some technical adjustments to make there on the camera, but we are live on KTCBroadcasting.com. You can listen and watch the program. Listen in here on the radio, WOHS, WLON, and WCSL. It's time for the Community Profile for this Monday, the 16th of December.
Hey.
Sandy Alexander's in the house, the co-host, executive producer of the show, and our always favorite guest star, Dr. Bruce.
Dr. Bruce.
Dr. Bruce.
Dr. Vince Hafner.
Dr. Vince.
Who today we'll be calling.
What did I call him?
Bruce?
I called him Bruce.
He's Dr. Chef.
He is a
Hefner
chef.
today.
Yeah, you're somebody else today. That's the reason I called you by the wrong name. I've never seen this. Is this something new, Vince, that you have taken up?
Well, when
All
I
this
was
cooking and baking?
when I was 15 years old, I worked at the Great Smokies Hilton up in Asheville, and I was a dishwasher. And back then, that's how cooks became chefs. You started washing dishes, then you went to pots and pans. You worked your way up to the salad bar, and from the salad bar, you went to be a line cook, which to me is the toughest job of all. And then you either became a banquet chef, and that's somebody that cooked for, you know, mass quantities of people. And at the Hilton, we'd always have hundreds of people in for meals, or the executive chef, and he kind of oversaw everything. So I liked it back then. When my daughter Natalie had our grandson, our fourth grandchild, he was in NICU, which is ICU for children, for infants, for 19 days. And I'm not one to sit in a hospital room and just wait. So I would work, and then at nighttime I would cook, and I would bring them supper. And I started out with simple stuff like cornbread and greens and cabbage and meats. And then I started into the pastries. And that's where I really kind of fell in love with the pastries. So I started making pound cake, cheesecake, cookies. My wife loves gingerbread cookies, so I make a lot of gingerbread cookies. And then cakes, and then fudge, and just different assortment of things. And my father-in-law, Mike Minix, likes something called Stollen, which is a German-made bread, similar to fruitcake, but it's more of a bread. You use a yeast-based, and it takes about 4 hours to make it. By the time you put the milk and the water and the flour and the yeast together, and you let it rise for 30 minutes, and then you put the other ingredients of the cake in and let it rise for an hour, and then you take it out and knead it, and then let it rest for another 45 minutes, and then you go from there. So.
Yeah, it's really good. We've been trying. We got the camera here. I'm going to just hold a few things up to the camera here. Can we see this? This is, now tell what these are.
Now that is Oreo, I guess cookies, Oreo balls. My daughter Natalie loves those. And basically, you just crush up Oreos with cream cheese, and then you have a double boiler for your semi-sweet chocolate, and you roll that in the chocolate, and it's just covered in chocolate. I have something I didn't bring called Buckeye, which is basically confectioner sugar. It looks like a Buckeye. It's black and it's kind of tan in the middle, and it's real sweet. And that's one of the favorites. And this is peanut butter fudge.
Let me hold this up to the camera.
Oh, man.
There it goes. There it goes. Look at that, folks.
Okay. And this is the remnant of a cake that I made for the...
I don't know if I can hold it.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
All right. Move the
I
camera.
want to see if I can move. No.
It won't do it. Well, anyway,
stretch that far.
take my word
Now I've
for
got
it.
it
There's
crooked.
half of a cake here.
Okay.
And okay, I'll get that knife so you won't poke your eye out.
You'll put your eye out.
It was a triple layered cake, and then I put a fondant, whatever, on the. It's something that goes on top of the icing, and it's made up of a confectioner sugar, and then clear like a syrup, and then you roll it together, and then you put it on top of the cake, and it's supposed to make it look
And
really
this
cool.
is the German bread you were talking about.
That's stolen.
See,
That's
it
the
kind of looks
stolen.
like fruit cake, kind of got the fruit, but it's different. It's really good.
Yeah.
Sandy and I have been eating on that, and Kevin and Andre have been back here sampling the goodies.
Okay.
So this is so you're not afraid to just get out there and try stuff.
You know, you can never be afraid of failure. That's one of the things I've learned in life. You can try it, and if it doesn't work out, and I've had a couple of mistakes. I tried to make some regular fudge a couple of weeks ago, and it just turned into sludge. You know, I didn't have the thermometer to determine the right degree to take it off the stove, and I just kind of guessed when I'm supposed to take it off the stove, and it was almost like it was alive, because when you would let it cool, you know, then I put it in the freezer, and I'm thinking, well, that'll harden up. When I would cut it with a knife and try to cut a piece out, the other fudge would take its place, like you had cut it and it was healing itself. So it kind of scared me. I thought I'd created something alive.
You created a
Living being. So
it's alive.
it's alive. So need to make another run at that one of these days.
But I mean, in the baking world, the pastries, etc. You're not afraid to try something new there, but you're not afraid to try just about anything.
Anything.
New. I mean, you know, from dieting to bicycling to playing the banjo, to
Being a vegan.
vegan. Yeah, that's what I was saying about the diet.
Well, I got to kick that field goal. You know,
and
a
you got to
weeks
kick
ago.
the field goal at
The last home
Rudolph
game
Stadium.
for Cherville High School. We were playing. It was our first.
It was the playoff game.
Playoff game.
Yeah, playing Highland Tech. Yeah.
And I guess it was the band director came up and said, we're not having a band thing at halftime, but any kid that wants to try a 25-yard field goal and kicks it successful gets a free T-shirt. Well, when I was in high school, I played football for 5 years. I played the Termite Mite Midgets, and I played my junior year or my freshman year at T.C. Robertson High School. But then I went to work at the Hilton. So one of the things that I did on my off time was just kick field goals. You know, I just had a football and a tee, and I would kick it and go back and get it and come back and kick it. And I tried to kick it over objects. And back then, of course, I still am a Washington Redskin fan, but Mark Mosley was the field goal kicker for the Redskins. And Mark Mosley was the last straight-on field goal kicker. If you watch a football game, whether it's high school or college or NFL, the kickers kind of come out of side, like soccer style. But Mark Mosley kicked it head on. And when I was in college, of course, I didn't play college football, but I would go out at Gardner-Webb, go out to the field by myself with my tee and my football. And I would kick field goals. And I would start at the 20, 25, 30, 35, and I got up to 40-yard line. So I could kick a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, because you
but that's
10
by
yards.
yourself. That's not with a crowd, no pressure.
And someone snapping and holding the ball.
all that
time.
process has to take place. So when the young lady come up and said anybody that wants to try at Cherville High School to kick a 25-yard field goal, that's nothing. I mean, I knew I could do that. So I asked her if I could, and she kind of smiled at me, and she said, well, yeah, I guess. So when I finished doing the public announcing responsibilities, I went down to the field, and it's one of those strange feelings, you know, when you'll try anything, right before you try it, you're telling yourself, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. It was raining, the grass was wet, and I had some slick boots on. Didn't have cleats, didn't have anything. And the kids that were kicking it, it was kind of shanking to the right and shanking to the left. And when I went down there was a bunch of kids kind of in a semicircle. And I thought, well, maybe they won't recognize me. You know, maybe they'll, because I did go down there. You know, I didn't wave my hand or anything. And I thought, well, if the young lady acknowledges me, that's fine. And if not, that's okay too. But sure enough, she pointed me out and she said, you're next. And I was wearing these tight blue jeans and these slick boots. And I thought, if I bust my backside, this is going to be awful embarrassing. But I was able to put it through and picked up my T-shirt. And part of me wanted to say, back it up 5 yards. You know, but I thought, no, don't push your luck. So
you did it. You made
Did
it. You got a standing ovation for the press box.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was great. It was one of those sights.
So you got to see it.
I did. I was there doing the game on the radio, and we broadcast it
Okay.
on the radio. Too
Okay.
bad we didn't record it, I guess. But
Oh, wow.
that's a dream come true. For
I
Vince.
just thought of a perfect birthday gift for me, from you.
Okay.
We'll go out to Cherville High School and you can kick that ball over the goal.
Hey,
There
that's
you go.
pretty
And
good.
let me
gift,
watch
yeah.
you do it.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Coach
that's
Fox
what you want
may
for
not
birthday.
smile on that if he sees two people out on his field, but
I think it'll be all right till next season.
Okay.
Yeah, just to go out there and do it once or twice. But yeah, and you know, other things in your life you have tried, you have done, you've, like I say, some things. I like the message, what you're saying there about not being afraid to try things. We should
Oh,
focus
it's
on that
powerful.
today
Yeah.
because there's things everybody wants to do.
yes.
Sometimes everybody has a dream. I mean, in real life or in movies, I had a dream I want to be a dancer. I had a dream I want to be this, that. And there's some dreams that, you know, are attainable.
Yes, they are.
And
I mean,
so-
I'll never be a brain surgeon. You know, I'll never be a concert banjo picker.
Yeah. Some people would like to be a millionaire, but it takes work to be a millionaire.
Yes, it
It
does.
just doesn't fall in your
Yes.
lap.
Yes,
unless you-
especially that first million. So I quit on that and just went straight to the
yeah,
second
working on
million.
the second million. Yeah.
Well, Vince, you wear many hats. And this morning when you walked in with a chef's coat on,
He does. He looks very.
he looks very
official.
professional.
You could be on
Saturday
TV.
night, I saw him in his nice suit, and he kept going out of the dining hall. I heard him say, "I'm going to put bread in the oven." And I thought, what is he doing? So obviously he was cooking bread.
Yeah, we had our age level 6, which is our senior adult Christmas dinner, and Sandy was the program. She came and played and gave a wonderful testimony. The people loved her very much. But the guy that was there that was catering the meal, he was a real executive chef. So I was able to talk to him, and I was making some stolen anyway, and I said, if you'll hang around, I'd like for you to taste mine. Because to me, that's the greatest thing about making anything, food, pastries, is people liking them. I don't eat a lot of what I make. I mean, I might taste it, but as far as like making fudge to eat the fudge, no. You know, I make it to give it away. To me, that's the greatest part of anything in life, is the ability to share it, to give it away, as opposed to storing it up. You know.
So, this holiday season, you're doing a lot of baking for friends and family.
Yes,
I know after a recent football game, I think it was, Danny and I stopped by.
Yes.
And you gifted us with a big, huge piece of cake.
Yes,
Did
yes.
you make that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had watched something on YouTube, and the chef was taking a kind of a pastry knife, and he would get a certain color, and he had like 3 colors. And he would take that pastry knife, and he would go horizontally through the cake and would start it, and then it made it look like it was a beautiful look on the cake. And I only had 2 colors, and I didn't have the right pastry knife, so it kind of looked like what you saw. It tasted good, you know, but it just didn't have that look. It wouldn't have won any kind of award, but I enjoy it. Now, see, baseball season is over.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love football. Don't misunderstand me, but I love the Braves. So when they're on, that gives me something to do. But when it's off season, I have to find something, you know, to spend my time. So it just so happened it happened to be, you know, sweets and such. I'm going to make a peppermint bark for my wife. Now, my wife is a wonderful, wonderful woman because she helps me as far as getting the recipes. Whatever she wants me to make, she'll make off a list of 7 or 8 with the recipes. And I have to study the recipe. You know, I'm not one of these guys that can get it in my head and go make it. I have to put in an ingredient, go back to the recipe, look at it, you know, kind of baby steps. But she found a bark, peppermint bark recipe. It really looks good. And I'm having to kind of build up my pans. I don't have a 9x9 pan, you know, and that's what it calls for. The thermometer deal. You know, I was making the fudge, and the only thermometer I had was an ear thermometer, you know, and I don't think anybody wants an ear thermometer in their fudge. Hard to
No,
find.
not
yeah,
me.
Yeah. So, you know, I just guessed, you know, it was not a
Thank
good
you.
guess.
Thank
So
you,
there's a
yes.
few things you need.
You didn't
know,
use
you
the
know,
ear
no,
thermometer on
no.
any of
There's no
this?
ear thermometers in this. So.
Okay.
So I was able to get me a thermometer, an inexpensive thing, but very needful.
Yeah.
So, and then the 9x9 pan, and I have this cool pumpkin mold. It looks like a pumpkin, and it's in 2 halves, of course, but it's 1 piece. And I'm pretty good with pound cake, and to me, pound cake is very forgiving. And you know, when you bake it, then you kind of flip it out of the mold, and it forms a pumpkin. And then you put icing in the middle, what kind of holds it together, and then you color it, whether it's green or whatever color you want to use. That's pretty cool. So I like different kind of molds, that kind of thing, to make objects. For the fire department, I just made a triple-decker cake.
Yeah.
Had white cake, chocolate cake, and white cake. And then I purchased some little toys, fire department, as you can see there, and then a fire department truck, and a little knife, a little hatchet, and a fire hydrant. So
that is so nice of you. That is so nice.
You and Sandy both. I mean, Sandy's over here. You're not afraid to try new things. I mean, you've always been able to play the piano.
Now, what's the worst thing that can be happen?
And you do the calligraphy. And you made Christmas ornaments for me and some of my family members this year.
Well, where's mine?
Yeah.
I'll bring it to you.
Okay. Be sure and spell it Bruce.
Bruce, yeah.
Oh, Pastor Bruce.
Pastor Bruce.
Well, see, one of my former pastors was Pastor Bruce. I guess that's where that came from.
Well, I just got a text while Vince was talking about, reminded me of my blood pressure. And thank you, Charles. I do remember I have high blood.
Yeah.
And but high blood pressure is not the problem today. It's sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Sorry about that.
I have to watch my sugar. But that's all right. I got a physical tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll tell her I had justifiable means to eat this way. A pastor brought me food.
That's it. Had to eat it. Milton House, the antique store.
The antique store is great. Doing great. It's been really good this year, and looking forward to keep going, looking for bigger and better things. Somebody told me the other day, my spirits get down every now and then when you have slow days or, rainy days and nobody shows up. You're sitting there just twiddling your thumbs. I try to think of things to do around the store to make it better when I'm not real busy. But someone told me the other day, antique stores, they're not built overnight. It takes a while for these things to, build and grow. And it's been a year and a half, but I think we've come a long way from where we were when we first opened, and looking forward to 2014 and doing a lot of things. It's a labor of love, as I mentioned during the swap shop. At Thanksgiving, we all try to tell everybody what we're thankful for, and the end of the year comes around. You think back over your year and the year you've had. I've had a wonderful year. Calvin and Teresa and KTC Broadcasting has allowed me to go back on the air. Some I'm doing it part-time, which is fine. I enjoy the hours I get, and doing the swap shop, going back on, being able to talk to the people again, and doing some sales, going out and meeting the advertisers again, and doing the ball games, which I love, and then I get to do the antique store, which is another labor of love. So yeah, it's all been great. And Sandy is coming by tomorrow. I mentioned to you a while ago, Sandy's coming by with the keyboard, play some music live in the store, and bring some of her CDs.
Okay.
You've heard about her CDs?
Yes, I had. And she sent me, I guess it was, I don't know if you call it a rough draft.
It was.
It was beautiful. She sent for Sherry and I to listen to. And really, there's times during it when we were traveling somewhere, so we were kind of uninterrupted. We could listen to it without, the phone ringing or anything. And it was really moving. Times of it, it was really nice.
Well, here's the real thing, and this is not a rough draft.
This is the finished product. She's autographing for Dr. Vince right now.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And there's your very own copy.
Thank you, Miss Sandy.
Yeah, that's with the orchestrated music, and it is lovely. It's beautiful, beautiful CD. 10 beautiful songs, and I leave it in my CD player and just listen to it all the time.
Okay.
Well, it's like I told you the other day, mission accomplished. That's all that I wanted to hear. That it gave some peace and comfort and soothing
Very
music.
soothing, yeah. And so I think it's what she's doing is wonderful with the proceeds from it. She's not just selling CDs and putting the money in her pocket. She's taking the money and putting it toward a cause she feels very close to, something that she actually started.
Yeah.
It's a beach house, isn't it?
Yeah, that beach house charity.
That'll be a cold day,
It
I
would
have
be today.
Oh yeah. No, I have a real back. I told you about my mother breaking her elbow and having surgery, and her sugar went loopy, and we thought we was going to lose her when she stayed in rehab for a while. And while I was there, I met a lot of people that live in these homes, and they don't have any family. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go and donate X number of dollars to the activity director to find out what they need and purchase gifts for them for Christmas.
Oh, that's sweet.
And if it were for the facility giving them something, they wouldn't get anything at all.
Okay, that's right.
And that just, I think the essence of Christmas is giving unselfishly.
Yeah, I think that's the essence of life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to me, Christmas is 365 days a year. And, at the end of the day, before we go to bed, I always wonder, I hope I have been an encouragement. There's so many discouraging things in life. And I pray in the name of Jesus that I have been an encouragement to someone. It could have been a stranger. Could have been somebody I know. For me, that's the value of life is, being able to be a benefit to someone else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's about me turning 60 Thursday. We have kidded for a whole year about me getting older and all of this stuff. And I said this Saturday night, but I am truly grateful that I am here, and 60 sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
As long as I'm healthy and able to play the piano and give my testimony and do what I love to do. And, in doing this, in January it'll be a year, Milton, and I've been interviewing people, and I love it. I mean, I love calling these people. We want to talk to you and finding out a little bit of a piece of their life. And we've got a CD of every one of them, just about, I would think.
Yeah.
And we've met a lot of good people, and from the Mountain Man in Boone to Lizard Lick Toad to just a lot
Local
of
folks
people. A lot of local
who are
people.
very talented,
Very
whether
talented.
they sing or make things with their hands, or
So you have
just-
Brooke and Darren coming.
Yeah.
I said
Yes,
on
we
the board
do.
there.
they are coming up next
We're
week.
supposed to eat lunch together sometime this week. So
Well, they're very talented, and
They're going to come and do some Christmas songs for us.
It's gonna be great.
You'll be blessed that day. I'll tell you.
sure will. And like I say, staying on the theme of trying new things, talking about this interview program, that was something years ago in the radio business I wouldn't do.
Why not?
I wouldn't do interviews. I was scared to death to do an interview. I was afraid I wouldn't have anything to talk about. And now it's, you just talk. You just
Yeah.
ask. It's just sitting around talking to either of somebody you just met or an old friend. It's
And
just
that's how
talking.
we look at it. Like we're three friends sitting together in a room talking.
I'm not.
We forget the microphones. We forget the cameras. We just talk.
We have microphones.
Yeah. This,
Oh,
That
is what
thing
that
in
is?
front of you,
Oh,
Vince.
okay.
and another thing, like I say, it's basketball season. I was telling, I think it was Danny Aker. I was telling the other day, Danny that does the games. He and I do the games together. I said, for years and years and years, I wouldn't do a basketball game. I said, I can't do it. It moves too fast.
It moves very fast.
I can't remember the names. I can't. Once upon a time, you've got to do it. You got to do it tonight. Got on the air after about 5 minutes. Nothing to it. So,
Okay.
things you're afraid of. Don't always be afraid of them. I mean, there's some things you don't want to do. You don't want to walk through fire, unprotected, I guess. But you don't want to swallow a piece of glass.
No, don't
Well, I
do
do
that.
know of one thing I won't have to worry about. I won't ever have to be worried about calling a football game.
Really?
Yes. After
Yeah.
the Roger Staubach incident, I will never.
The Roger
I remember
Staub-
that.
The Roger
Yeah.
Staub.
Yeah. Now I know
Yeah.
all about him
Now,
now.
Vince said something a while ago about being a Redskin fan.
Yes.
I keep forgetting this about Vince. He's a Redskin fan. You don't, by any chance, know how to hack into a Facebook page, do you?
No.
Okay,
no.
all right.
I don't get on Facebook.
Somebody hacked my Facebook,
No.
and
Neil,
he's
he's the minister of the Lord. He's not going to mess with your computer.
I know, but he says he's not afraid to try anything.
Yeah.
Thought he might have tried hacking.
Did
computers.
somebody hack into your
Somebody
Facebook?
hacked my Facebook and put up a picture on my. See, I have never had a profile picture.
Okay. And they put up Sonny Jurgensen or something?
They put up a Washington Redskin football helmet
Okay.
as my profile picture.
That may not have been a hack. That might have been a help.
Well, what that does, it's kind of cute and funny. It's had undoubtedly somebody who knows me. But what that does, it sends everybody in the world that you're friends with
Redskin.
a message saying you have changed your profile. So now all my friends on Facebook think I'm a Redskin fan. And I just can't have that.
Well, that's, that might be a change that you need to attempt that would be a good change.
Well, it's Cowboys and Redskins this Sunday. And I made a vow last night to myself that I wish the Cowboys well. Maybe they'd even win the Super Bowl this year, but I'm not going to watch them anymore after what they did yesterday. I don't, and you can say I'm not a true fan.
No,
it's just too upsetting to see what they do out there on the football field. But I will tape the game.
Yeah.
I will put it on record, and if they win, I'll probably watch it.
Some of the worst whippings I ever had in my life was over the Washington Redskins. If they lost, I was a child, I'd fall out on the floor and foam at the mouth and just thrash. And
sounds like me and the Cowboys. We've been together a long time.
So
with
I
our
think
teams.
you get to a point where you kind of outgrow that.
Yeah.
And the Panthers being so close and being on television every time they play. When we were growing up, basically it was the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you kind of acquired your team, and whatever your parents pulled for. So my parents were big Redskin fans, and you'd receive Redskin helmets and jerseys for Christmas and that type of stuff. Even today, my mother for Christmas will get me a Washington Redskins, sweater or something like that to wear. Mm-hmm. But I don't take it as it doesn't upset me. Now, back in the '80s, I'm a big Carolina basketball fan.
Yeah, there you go. We agree on that.
And I got real upset at a game. And I was watching it on television, and just, the kids would go upstairs and the wife. I mean, I would just be crazy. And after that game, I was probably 26, 27 years old. And I thought, I'm never going to act this way again over a sporting event. I mean, I get upset, get involved and excited, but I'm not going to get carried away.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to get carried away. So whether it's the Panthers, I want to see the Panthers win, of course. And I'd love to see the Redskins win. I think the Panthers have a making of a good team. I really do. I don't know how far they'll go. Seattle's awful tough. 49ers are awful tough. So, you're going to have to beat those good teams to get there. You can't expect somebody else to beat these good teams. You're going to have to beat them if you get to the Super Bowl. But I've been real pleased with their progress, like their coach. I'm going to say something. I hope it doesn't offend you. I think the owner of the Redskins is very similar to the owner of the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
And that is they delve in it too much. They become the center of the show instead of the team.
Oh, yeah.
And to the detriment of the team. And if I owned a professional sporting event, I'd want to be there, but I don't think I'd want to be on the sidelines. I don't think I'd want to be interviewed. Who's fired? Who's hired? Who are you looking at? That's not helping the team. Now, I noticed just in sports that Mac Brown has resigned or retired from Texas. Now, one of my favorite college football teams is Alabama. And there was talk at the beginning of the year about their coach from Alabama going to Texas. Now, this just came out of the blue. This was at the start of the season. And I can't help but wonder if that was a detractor to the Alabama. I'm not blaming that on them losing to Auburn, but sometimes you can get too involved in it, and you're just supposed to either coach it or play it or own it. But I've never pulled for the Cowboys, but I've always been impressed with their players. Tom Landry, to me, was one of the most honorable men. I couldn't pull for his team. Roger Staubach was one of the most honorable men. I couldn't pull for him.
I like him too.
But you've had some great characters, great players, great human beings play on that team. I think Tony Romo's a nice guy. I wouldn't pull for him, but he is a nice guy, and I really like Tony. And he seemed like he's just snake bit, but he is a nice guy.
Yeah, I think they've got some people there with character. I think the head coach is one of them, but I don't think he will be around much longer.
Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to win this, and they're going to have to beat the Redskins, and they're going to have to beat Philly.
Yeah, and
I have a feeling they can win both of those games. Chip Kelly is the new coach for Philly, and I think they're happy to have accomplished what they have accomplished. Now, the coach that I really like, and now you get a little age, you start following coaches.
Yeah.
The coach that was at Philly for all those years. And
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid. And I always liked him, but I didn't like Philly. he went to Kansas City, and they've
What a
had this
job.
great run.
Yeah.
So the AFC, excuse me. I'm looking at Kansas City. Even though Denver is a juggernaut and the Patriots can beat anybody if they're hitting on all 8 cylinders, I like Kansas City. Now, Denver manhandled them, I think, twice. But I'd like to see Kansas City go, and I'd love to see the Panthers go.
Yeah.
So,
But neither one of us is going to get down on the floor and kick and scream.
no,
one way or the
I'm
other.
not going to burn a flag at half-mast or anything like that. No.
You just go in the
Make
kitchen
something,
and
yeah.
bake a cake.
Just bake a
It's,
cake
good.
and make some fudge. So.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's always fun to talk to you, and you're an inspiration. As you
Yes,
said,
you are.
at the end of the day, was I,
Blessing.
a blessing to someone or a positive influence on someone? You sure are. And every time you come by here, makes
It
me
is.
want to go out and try new things, because who knows, next time you come in here, you may be. Who knows what you'll be up to?
Well, something we're planning in January. I
oh,
talked to
We'll
Kevin
talk about
this.
the church too. A little bit.
We're going to do a live radio show. Now, once a month, our church, our senior adults, we meet for a meal and a program. And in January, I would love to try a live radio show. Those old-time radio shows, it wouldn't be like What's My Line or anything like that. But you would have audience participation, and you would have people, skits, and, how you'd read those old radio
yeah.
scripts. I love radio, and I love AM radio. I think it's a great untapped resource. And I think, right programs, people are going to listen. And I think that's true with your Swap and Shop. People tune in and they listen. They tune in from different states. They listen because it's what they want to hear. So we're going to try that live on a Monday night, and we're trying to work out the logistics of where's the best place to do it. We can't really do it in the Christian Outreach Center because we have upward basketball, and that's where the kids practice. So we're relegated either to the Creed Coffee House or to the dining hall. So we're trying to figure that out. But really, we're live every Sunday morning at First Baptist Cherryville. When you tune us in on Sunday morning, you're not getting a tape-delayed week-old message. You're getting it as it happens. So we're conscious of that, on Sunday morning. If you do listen to us on Sunday morning, we try to move the service along pretty quickly, from the time that somebody sings to the time that somebody prays to the time that somebody preaches. It's all really kind of packed in there because we're in mind of the people that are in the audience, and there's nothing worse in radio than just dead silence. So we do that every Sunday, so it's not like it's, we're breaking the sound barrier. But I think it would be neat to have a live radio show like they did back in the 30s, in the 40s, where people tuned in and they listened. So if you're listening, we'll maybe have some announcements of what time it will be and tune it in. If you like it, let Calvin know. And maybe we could do it on a more regular basis.
And maybe this is what it was about, but Calvin told me to tell you to call him.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe that's what it's about. But
Do,
he-
do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do.
He's
I was
probably telling me
supposed-
you are not doing a live radio show.
don't talk about it
Yeah,
on the
don't
program.
talk about it on the radio. Whatever you do, don't mention it.
I've been watching my phone to see if he texts me and tell me to
That's it.
save him some food.
Yep.
Oh, I'll leave
And-
some of this. Oh, sure. I can't eat all of this.
And Christmas, have you already had cantatas or things like that? Are they still to come?
Yes, we had our adult cantata 2 Sunday nights ago, and it did a magnificent job. David Day is our minister of music, and he never ceases to amaze me on his gifts and what he's willing to do. Last night we had our children sing, and they just did a wonderful job. So we finished up with that, and I think next is the Christmas Eve service, as far as a service, out of the norm. So that's kind of where we are.
Okay. All right. Well, best wishes to you in
Thank
the
you.
new year to
Absolutely.
come, and we'll have you back again next time we have a
Next
cancellation.
time somebody don't show up.
Let me
yeah.
tell you
He's
something. He
already-
is such a trooper, and I thanked him Saturday night because, you know, the last time he came down here about 2 minutes notice, and I thanked him for it. And then dogged last night if I didn't have to call him back.
Yeah, and when you said the previous time, 2 minutes, it was really just
I
about
really,
2 minutes notice.
He came and
Somebody bailed, and I said,
And today he brought all this great
Well, I
food.
told her, I said, you give me 24 hours notice, and I'll bake you some stolen bread. Now, we hung up the phone. 5 minutes later, I'm already at church, and I get the message that, Pastor, we need you Monday morning. And I thought, man, I have to make some more stolen bread. So I went in and started pots and pans, and hope you enjoyed it. And I'll leave some of this here for you, you know, for the rest of the day. And leave the rest of that stolen here, and some fudge and some of those Oreo things and some of the cake. So you can kind of eat on it all day.
Well, I tell you what, in 2014, because I can't do it this year, but I'll find somebody to fill in for me, play the piano, my church, so I can come up here and hear you preach.
We'd love to have you, Sandy.
I'd love to.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vince Hefner.
Yes.
I didn't introduce you correctly, but I got it.
Well, let me ask for you. I know you got to go. Is there a nickname I'm looking for, like chef nickname? And I wanted to be Vince the Impaler, but when you eat your food and it runs straight through you, that's not a good.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
No. So Chef V. Chef
V. Vinny. Chef Vincento.
Okay, but I can't speak Italian or French.
Yeah.
Hardly
But
can
that
speak
does
English.
sound good.
I'm a bilingual illiterate. I cannot speak or read in at least 2 different languages. So
Yeah. We'll work on that.
Well,
okay, work on that.
Pastor Vince, you just good old Pastor Vince.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thanks so much again for being with us today. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the program today, and join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow's guest, kind of on the question mark right now.
Question mark.
Still working on it's hard here around the holidays. People are so busy, but we're working on tomorrow guests. So we'll see you then with someone. Vince, what are you doing tomorrow?
I don't know. I can bring my sweet wife up here. I mean, she can give you an interview and a half.
It may be Vince Hefner week. Oh, folks, hope you enjoyed the program.
Yes, hope you did.
Try new things.
Don't
legally.
be afraid.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to, work on your dreams.
That's
There
right.
you go.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.